Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. Webster County Sheriff Tim Mitchell appeared before a judge this evening for his alleged misconduct while on the job. In his initial court appearance today, all 12 charges against Mitchell were read to him. He has also been given a $400,000 bond. Our Quentin Smith, he was inside the courtroom today. He now joins us live in the studio with more. Quentin.
Yes, Scott, this arrest is continuing to stir up conversation all throughout the Webster County community. Mitchell has been the sheriff there for the past 7 years. Now, usually it's Sheriff Mitchell arresting the bad guys and watching them make their appearance in front of a judge. However, today, those roles were reversed. Webster County Sheriff Tim Mitchell, handcuffed and shackled. That's how he came out for his first court appearance. He can even be seen here, smiling and winking at family members just as he entered into the courtroom.
Today was just the initial appearance when the judge advised him of what he was charged with, made sure that he had an attorney, and handled a bond.
Mitchell was arrested at his home on Hobby Road Wednesday morning. The 7-year sheriff is facing a dozen charges, which include attempting a sexual act with an inmate, giving weapons to an inmate, and he's even facing embezzlement accusations. Several state agencies are continuing to collect evidence and speak with witnesses in this ongoing investigation. If convicted, the sheriff could face up to 152 years behind bars and have to pay over $100,000 in fines.
In this case, because of the nature of the 12 charges against him and because of some threats that had been made, we agreed to a $400,000 bond, and that if he make that bond, he be required to be limited to have to stay at his home, and that he be required to have electronic monitoring to make sure that he stays at home.
It was just last month when Mitchell announced he was stepping down as sheriff. He cited ongoing health issues as the reason behind that decision. His last day on the job was set for January 2nd.
He is still the sheriff, but he has appointed Andy McCants as the chief deputy to run the sheriff's department so long as he is not able to serve as sheriff.
Now, a date still has not been set for Mitchell's next court appearance. However, I do want to point out the Webster County Board of Supervisors have scheduled a special call meeting to take place next week on December 26th. Scott?
All right, we'll definitely be following this story closely. Thanks, Quentin. Well, the number 2 man in the Mississippi Senate is arrested on a DUI charge after crashing his truck. Terry Burton was arrested last night in Oktibbeha County by the Mississippi Highway Patrol. State troopers say the one-vehicle accident happened on Highway 82 just west of Starkville near Highway 182. MHP says Burton's Chevrolet Silverado was in a ditch. Now, the 62-year-old was not injured. Oktibbeha County Sheriff Steve Gladney says bond for the Republican from Newton was set at $992. Now, you may remember Burton was charged with DUI second and a failure to maintain lane. Burton was found not guilty of DUI after a 2016 crash in Scott County. Now, he told our statewide news partner WLBT that, quote, "I respect and applaud law enforcement for always erring on the side of caution. I truly believe this is a misunderstanding," end quote. Well, it's becoming an all too familiar scene in the nation's capital. Another top-level official is leaving President Trump's cabinet. Secretary of Defense James Mattis will step down from his position in February. This after the president made the controversial decision to pull U.S. soldiers from Syria. Nicole Killian has more details from the White House.
In a tweet, President Donald Trump announced Defense Secretary James Mattis is retiring in 2 months.
Secretary Mattis came in, he met with the president, they made the decision.
Mattis wrote to the president in his resignation letter, "Because you have the right to have a Secretary of Defense whose views are better aligned with yours on these and other subjects, I believe it is right for me to step down from my position." This comes a day after President Trump announced he is withdrawing U.S. troops from Syria, declaring victory against ISIS. White House officials indicated that in the end, the decision was the president's. It was also met with condemnation from members of the president's own party.
I don't know how this decision was made. It literally came out of left field. It has rattled the world.
Mattis is the 6th cabinet secretary to resign or be forced out since President Trump took office.
Everything that indicates stability, everything that indicates strength, everything that indicates knowledge is leaving this administration.
James Mattis' last day will be February 28th. Nicole Killian, CBS News, the White House.
Mattis says he's staying on through February to give the president time to pick a successor. Well, time now to toss things over to meteorologist Jacob Riley with a first look at our forecast. Hey, Jacob.
Hey there, Scott. It's an absolutely miserable night out there. We're sitting in the middle 40s. Rain is falling across the area. Tonight's a good night to stay inside, watch some Christmas movies, drink some hot cocoa, really get into the season. We have some scattered rain showers out there across the area, heavier showers there in Clay County. All of that is slowly inching its way off towards the south and east. That's going to continue overnight as this low pressure system here over the Carolinas continues to track off to the north and east. These showers are slowly going to push their way through our area tonight and through the early morning hours of Friday. I expect all that rain to be out by noon on Friday. We will top out around 44. Tomorrow also is the very first day of winter, and we are going to start it off on a cold note. Winter begins at 4:23 tomorrow afternoon.
I'm going to lie, hot cocoa and a fire sounds good right now. Thanks, Jacob. Well, a Tupelo businessman is finding success in what began as a hobby. Our Allie Martin introduces us to an entrepreneur, that is, whose sweet and tasty product is making its way across the country.
When he's not delivering custom cakes to clients, like this replica of the White House and Supreme Court building. Hey, look at that, wow, that's incredible. Lionel Land can probably be found hard at work at his business, the Cake Guy Bake Shop. He has had a love for baking ever since his grandmother taught him 20 years ago.
My grandmother was a baker, and so I just wanted to say, I said, hey, I want to learn how to bake a cake, and later on became a cake decorator.
Land makes wedding cakes along with other sweet goodies, but his bakery's biggest seller is cake in a jar. Land says it was discovered by accident.
I was doing some cake pops at my store and kind of had some leftover cake batter, and I had some jars sitting around, so I put them in jars and I did a layering process, and I just gave it to my kids. And one of my kids, you know, having a big heart, they took it to their teacher, and the teacher ate some of the cake and enjoyed it, and then contacted me and wanted to know, hey, where could they get it from?
The Cake Guy began selling cake in a jar and took his product to a trade show in Jackson. That's where Mississippi First Lady Deborah Bryant tried cake in a jar, took samples to the governor's mansion, and helped put the sweet confection on the map.
We found out that she named us one of the top 10 things to buy in the state of Mississippi. Centerfold magazine of the Mississippi Magazine. So it has been a great run so far, and it's steadily growing.
Retailers find out about cake in a jar primarily through trade shows. The product is in nearly 300 stores nationwide. For now, the business is operated by Land, his wife, and 6 children, but he knows the future may mean a bigger staff without compromising quality. Land says he has learned a lot along the way.
Stay humble, be dedicated to what you do, don't waver. As long as you continue to keep God first, everything else will line up.
In Tupelo, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Well, obviously, everyone knows it's my favorite time of the year, and to make it even better, I got to tag along with a couple of Starkville police officers for Shop with a Cop. A couple of well-deserving kids each got $150 to go shopping with Officer Bowers and Officer Simon tonight at the Starkville Walmart. Now, you guessed it, toys, of course, were the first thing on the list, but both were even selfless and thinking of others this holiday season. What was the first thing on your list?
To give my baby sister something.
Hook toys and Black Panther toys and hero toys.
It's incredible. Like I said, I've enjoyed taking part of this opportunity to be with Mr. Zach here, and like I said, he has full of energy, and I'm excited.
Michael Millis at State Farm organized this year's Shop with a Cop.
Well, gusty winds and rain showers stick around tonight through early Friday morning. Coming up after the break, I'll let you know when those temperatures begin to warm up. Stay tuned.
WCBI First Alert AccuWeather Forecast with meteorologist Jacob Riley.
Going to start you off with a look at our Alpha Insurance Skycam network there in downtown Louisville, Mississippi, and at Durham's Pharmacy there in Vernon, Alabama. Raindrops are continuing to fall on the lenses. Not heavy enough, though, to keep the Christmas lights from showing there in downtown Tupelo. It's a nasty night thanks to this weather system here continuing to pull north across the eastern portions of our country, really creating a travel headache for many folks out there this evening. That's going to continue to push off to the east as we go overnight tonight. We do have a few showers out there right now, the heaviest of which are here in Clay County. That's going to continue to pull off to the east and southeast very slowly tonight. We're going to see those rain showers stick around all the way through the early morning hours. Tomorrow morning we're going to start out at 39 degrees, so a cold, wet rain, and we're going to see some pretty gusty winds as well. But as we go throughout the rest of your night tonight, there are those showers continuing to pull on off out of our area, starting off at 7 a.m. Friday morning. Have a few sprinkles left. Those sprinkles will continue until the evening hours on Friday. Looking here around 5 o'clock, the back edge of that cloud deck continues to pull off to our east, leaving us with clear sky Saturday night. We'll see some sunshine on the day on Saturday as well before another weak system begins to move in late Saturday night into the early morning hours on Sunday. Here are those gusty winds I was telling you about. All these little green shades that you see, those are sustained wind gusts at around 20 miles an hour. So I wouldn't be surprised throughout the rest of the night tonight and throughout the early morning hours of Friday for us to see sustained winds up to 20 miles an hour and gusts upwards of 30 as well. Another thing you can expect as we go throughout the rest of this week and the weekend are some warming temperatures. 58 Sunday, 63 on Tuesday. Christmas isn't going to really feel like Christmas. Going to be pretty warm this year. But as of now, it's looking mostly dry on a Christmas day. For Friday, though, we're going to keep those showers around 44 daytime high in Louisville, 44 West Point as well, 44 there in Eupora. In addition to those rain showers, again, we're going to see some gusty winds out of the west, northwest, topping out at 45 Aliceville, 44 in Vernon as well. Those rain showers are going to stay mainly focused throughout the morning hours, though. We'll top out at 45 in Tupelo, 44 degrees there in Houston as well. We could see a few peaks of sun before the sun sets tomorrow, but as we look for Christmas Eve, much of the nation is looking good in terms of travel. We will have this weather system begin to move onto the east coast, so if you're traveling out west, you will need to keep a close eye on that. Some rain and mountain snow is definitely in the forecast on a Christmas Eve out there. But back for us, rain on Friday morning, first day of winter as well, by the way. But then as we get into your weekend, that sun comes back for Saturday, a few showers Sunday, and then we will be clear until we get towards the end of next week. We'll have another weather system move in, could bring some storms. We'll continue to keep an eye on that, and we'll have more coming up a little later in the show. Scott?
But does any of this look familiar? Coming up a little later, meet a man who goes all out for Christmas decorations. Stay with us.
You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Scott Martin.
Welcome back, everyone. With the holidays in full swing, some may not always feel so upbeat. Tonight, how you can fight the holiday blues in our Health Talk with Baptist.
I'm Chaplain Steve Brown, Director of Spiritual Care here at Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle. For some people, feelings of sadness and loneliness during the holidays may go deeper. Holiday cheer may be difficult to come by if you're facing the emotional pain of loss, such as the loss of a loved one, the loss of a job, divorce, or an extended illness. This type of loss is called grief. Some losses are also normal transitions in life, such as a child leaving home for college or getting married. Nevertheless, they still create a sense of loss. Even in the best of times, the holidays are stressful. But when there is an added emotional burden, they can be especially difficult. When there is a loss or change in our lives, our traditions may also change, and we find we miss those things that have brought us comfort. But holidays can also be a time of healing if we open our hearts to new traditions. It's unrealistic to think we should be happy all of the time. It's normal and quite healthy to feel sadness. Let go of unrealistic expectations. The cranberry sauce doesn't taste quite right, so what? Say no if you need to. Do what you can. Experiencing joy is a choice. We can choose to become bitter, or we can choose to become better. I'm praying you're able to find joy in the midst of your holiday blues. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle.
One of the area's biggest stars is going from the 6'2" to the NFL. More on Macon, Mississippi's Jeffrey Simmons coming up next in sports.
with Tom Ebel.
From Macon, Mississippi to the NFL, Mississippi State defensive lineman Jeffrey Simmons announcing today he will forego his senior season and enter the 2019 NFL Draft. Simmons has been a force for the Bulldogs since he stepped foot on campus. The two-time All-SEC player and 2018 Connerly Trophy winner is a projected first-round pick. Even with the announcement, the Noxubee County native will play in the Outback Bowl in Tampa on New Year's Day. Simmons bucking the trend of first-round picks deciding not to play in their team's bowl game, but Jeffrey's decision for playing is a little different.
It was the right time because, I want to go down there focused on the bowl game. I don't want to get down there, everybody, are you leaving, are you leaving? And, like I said, it's the right time. No distraction with me or my teammates. So, like I said, it was the right time to make the decision.
So Jeffrey choosing to announce today to focus solely on Iowa and the bowl game and probably evade all the questions of everyone asking, what are you going to do, as he just said. But taking a look at the top dog, Jeffrey Simmons' career at Mississippi State. This, of course, not even counting the bowl game. We get one more game to see the Noxubee County Star in the maroon and white. 159 tackles, 30.5 of those for loss, 6 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, 3 block kicks. Of course, those 2 touchdowns is one of those block punts in the Louisiana Tech game last year where he scooped the fumble up for a score. He had both of those touchdowns were actually in the Louisiana Tech game. So one more game for Jeffrey Simmons wearing the maroon and white. One of the state's top linebackers and Louisville Wildcat Ashanti Sistrunk makes it official, joining the Ole Miss Rebels. Sistrunk will enroll early at Ole Miss and says the defensive staff has plans for him at the nickel position for his freshman year. The All-State linebacker racked up 303 tackles, 6 sacks, and 10 interceptions as a Louisville Wildcat, leading the ferocious defense of 2018 en route to the 4A state championship. Ashanti says once he stepped foot on campus at Ole Miss, it was love at first sight.
When I went up there for the junior day in March, and it was like, man, I could really see myself playing here. I was like, whoa. And then ever since then, I just fell in love with it.
If you didn't get a chance to see him play, you missed out, because he's a great player and he's an athlete. He can play a lot of positions, because I played him in middle linebacker, outside linebacker, free safety, cornerback, and he's just an athlete, and he do everything on special team too. And he's just a guy that don't never give up and don't never give out. And he gonna play hard up there at Ole Miss.
Will Hale State hoops on the road out west, taking on Washington. Unfortunately, game's still going on, so we can't show highlights as of right now, but our Blair Schaefer will have a full recap from Seattle, Washington tomorrow on WCBI Sports, and we'll get you ready for SEC play coming up in just a week. That's it for sports. We'll ask your forecast coming up next.
Finally tonight, a Wisconsin man is going all out this year to pay tribute to a Christmas classic. Do you recognize it? Travis Hoffman has converted his front yard into a life-size replica of the Griswold home from Christmas Vacation. The display includes the family truckster, complete with a tree and, of course, Cousin Eddie's RV. Hoffman is known to also dress as Cousin Eddie to complete the look. It's hysterical.
It is pretty funny.
I thought his soundbite was coming up there.
7-day forecast. Christmas is looking good. Could have a few showers work their way in Tuesday afternoon, but as we go on into Thursday, we could have some more storms move back in towards our area. As of now, no severe weather is expected. We're going to keep an eye on that for you, though. Let you know if anything changes, but this weekend it's looking good, Scott. And sunshine is back Saturday.
Looks like Santa got tired of flossing.
Yeah, he got tired. He's finishing the tree
He's been flossing the last couple of days.
Yes.
So, all right, thanks, Jacob. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.